people are resisting wherever you may go. And this is the single biggest fact they don't want you to know. From New Delhi to New Mexico, there are battles going on. And the darkest hour is just before the dawn. In Berkeley and New York, they're raiding radio stations, trying to turn the voice of the people into the voice of the corporations. Will we seize the airwaves, wipe the sweat off of our brow, stand and face the beast and shout democracy now? Who will tell the people that free speech is a ruse? The corporations run the country, and then they make the news. Is it media or mind control, heroic victories or crimes? Who will tell the people that we're living in these times? That we're living in these times? That we're living in these times?
It is the dawn of the 21st century. Globally, the oppressors are waging a war against the oppressed. The first casualty of war is truth, and the oppressors have big guns, money, power, and a stranglehold on the media. But we can fight back. We have our own weapons: vision, creativity, and Indymedia. Indymedia was born in the clouds of tear gas that filled the streets of Seattle in 1999. It has since grown to a network of over 120 media centres worldwide. Indymedia's stories come out of the trenches, from the mouths of the frontline fighters. They come from those who resist and are rising up. They come from you.
We have to fight, although we have to cry.
Spirit shouldn't come from money.
Find out what's really going on. Break through the corporate veil.
They will not tell our story well. They will not. Fuck the corporate media.
Tell your story yourself through Indymedia. On the web, with video, radio or print. Choose your weapon and act. Empower yourself and others. Fight for truth.
Eventually the truth, even though it's beaten down and covered up, it'll rise to the top.
Indymedia, because corporate media is always out of focus.
The power comes from the people, from you and I, from the bottom up.
Movement. We need a movement that takes what we know about being activists in every other realm, and we need to apply it to the media.
NAB's in town, so we decided to come out and stage an interactive protest. We have a banner, and we will be covering ourselves in newspapers, demonstrating how the media makes people blind by controlling what we read, by what we see, and by what we hear.
What is your name, sir?
Mr. President.
Oh,
you can call me Mr. President.
Mr. President. Okay, Mr. President, a lot of people do believe that you're not elected, but selected instead. What do you say to that?
Well, it's the seat of power that I've been selected to and have risen above all the commonness, and we've all come together to fight terrorism. And that's the bottom line. That's where it's at.
What about
speaking man to man, person to person, and we're all just gathering here, and we got to fight the terrorists.
what do you mean by excess of evil on your speech?
Well, you see, if you ever picked up an axe yourself, you know this is sharp on the end, and you wouldn't want to get anywhere near that. There's a blatant evil across the land, and we know that these axes are out there.
You said wherever we found the terrorists, we'll smoke them out. What do you mean by that exactly? Referring that one in Osama bin Laden?
Well, you know, as you know, we've dropped that whole Osama bin Laden stuff, and it's all about Saddam Hussein now. We're looking for the next guy, and actually we're having a contest now to see who's the next guy after the next guy. So it's Saddam Hussein, and we're looking for another person right now.
Being a Muslim's not a crime. Being a Muslim's not a crime. Being a Muslim's not a crime. Being a Muslim is not a crime.
Before I came to America, I was bombarded with this idea of freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of this. But what I see for these past men, everybody is afraid to talk. Everybody is afraid of one another. Everybody is afraid. And that is not what America stands for. Is not. Is not. America is not white. America is not black. America is not green, and America is not red. And how dare you put America on a face? America was founded by immigrants. And we are proud to be immigrants. One more thing. So, please, I would like President Bush. I think I'm gonna start right now since you guys gave me the microphone. But I really would like to hear from I really would like to hear from President Bush. What exactly should we do? What should we do? Because you tell Al-Burqad is a terrorist and we're supporting terrorists. I'm sorry. We are supporting our families. We are supporting a $43 million that you send. It was my money that I sent to my family. If that was a crime feeding my family, then we are all guilty.
These are humans.
Why am I so depressed and confused all the time? It's like I don't care about anything anymore. All I want to do is watch Fox News all day. I feel like I don't even know what's going on around me.
If you are experiencing symptoms like these, you could be suffering from corporate fasciitis. Corporate fasciitis is a disorder that affects millions of Americans each year. You are not alone.
Doctor, what causes this sickness?
Corporate fasciitis is an MTD. It's a media-transmitted disease. Let's take a look. First of all, let's open up the mouth. Say ah.
Ah.
Good. Any other symptoms?
I feel afraid all the time.
You see, as mainstream media enters your head, the misinformation releases a contagion. This contagion triggers a process similar to brainwashing. This disorder, which spreads throughout the central nervous system and eventually throughout the entire body, causes extreme cynicism and social lethargy.
So my television's poisoning me.
Not just your television, unfortunately, but also the radio and print media.
So what can I do, Doctor?
Well, fortunately for you, there's an easy solution. What you need is Indymedia Presents. Why, with a weekly dose of independent media from PepperSpray Productions, you can be back to your old self again, enjoying life, and most importantly, thinking for yourself.
Now I feel hopeful again, and I can take an active part in my community and the world around me. Thanks, Indymedia Presents.
Warning, regular ingestion of independent media may cause increased consciousness, acute political awareness, counter-hegemonic activity, enlarged cranial capacity, excessive hopefulness, and bloated critical thinking abilities. Ask your doctor if Indymedia Presents is right for you.
This is what democracy looks like.
Everybody knows that all the people don't have liberties, all the people don't have freedom, all the people don't have justice, and all the people don't have power, so that means none of us do.
Jello Biafra for the Independent Media Center and the camcorder Truth Jihad.
The only thing that's going to stop this is a militant demonstration against the city of San Francisco.
Hey, hey! The movement is intending to fill the streets and reclaim the streets and reclaim the spaces that have been absolutely hijacked.
I think there's a lot of people here for how freezing cold it is out here. I'm really excited. I did not think there was going to be this many people. I'm just totally pumped.
It'll be to take these steps. As we stand against the war, we also stand behind those who resist it.
More and more U.S. service members are actively refusing to participate in the illegal, immoral invasion and occupation of Iraq.
No more. We have a different path to take, and it doesn't matter what they do to us. It doesn't matter if they take away our honorable discharge, if they put us in prison.
Call it peace or call it treason, call it love or call it reason, but I ain't marching anymore. No, I ain't marching anymore.
Iraq Vets Against the War is a group of veterans that have served since 9/11 in the War on Terror, and we stand for three things: immediate withdrawal of all U.S. occupying forces from Iraq, reparations for the Iraqi people, and full benefits for all veterans.
Take it back. Take it back. Take it back.
I had an apprentice who was killed over there already, and there's probably, I don't know, I think in 302 I think we've got probably another 8 or 10 people that are over there, that really don't want to be there. We hear from them on a regular basis, and they really don't want to be there, and they don't really have any idea why they're there. But let's face it. I mean, a guy, a first-year apprentice operating engineer makes about $250 a day, and as a soldier over there, he makes 80. Guy's got 2 kids. It's hard. It's hard for him to make it on $80 a day. especially when he's got to buy his own toilet paper and his own uniforms and all that out of that meager check.
For the union.
What brings you here to Westlake Mall?
Well, I'm most upset about the fact that there are some people who are supposedly leading our country who don't believe in me. Clearly they don't when they say they do.
Would you say historically that when you smashed all the vendors at the synagogue, that was your first statement against the WTO and globalization?
Absolutely. It's absolutely, yes.
I think so too. And so what sort of work have you been doing globally? Because I haven't seen much presence of you in these war times.
Appealing to people's hearts as best I can. Some people claim to have my message figured out, and they're using it to justify killing other people.
And what about the Rastafarians? So we need it, don't need it?
I'm an open-minded person.
So you're saying you like gay people too?
I have no problem with people who choose to love.
And what about the people with the missiles?
I'm not comfortable with that at all.
Well, thank you, Jesus, for your time.
The pharaohs of our day.
Able-bodied people are going to see us up here today and not understand what the issue is. And I'm here to say to those people, we don't blame you for not understanding the issue. There's a consistent effort to make sure that you don't understand. There's a consistent effort to make sure that you don't value us and that you don't care. But what we want you to understand is, yes, we want to be alive, and because we want to be alive and we value ourselves and we value each other, we want to choose where and with whom we live. And if that makes us radical, then call us radicals.
Corporate media is often criticized for only going after the spectacular shots and the superficial stories and not bothering with the issues raised by demonstrators. Truth is, they don't even get the good shots.
Ripped up paving stones with crowbars and even their bare hands, broke them and threw the chunks at the lines of riot police. Get the fuck out of here.
For the good shots, as well as the whole truth, and the reasons behind the truth, rely on the independent media.
Take him to trauma room 2.
What's your name, sir? Can you tell me your name?
Nurses are finding it is no longer good enough to have great clinical skills at the bedside. The biggest challenge to public health isn't germs or a new exotic disease. Faced with sicker patients and shrinking resources, nurses are taking to the streets in ever greater numbers. In the battle to save their patients, nurses are discovering that sometimes the fight requires a stethoscope or syringe, sometimes a picket sign or a strike.
Meanwhile, we're nursing as fast as we're dancing.
I'm here with PepperSpray Productions at Yesler Terrace, a public housing community in Seattle, home to seniors, immigrants, refugee families, people with disabilities, and others on a limited income.
Yesler Terrace, what it means to me is peace, safety. You know, there are so many people out here who love and respect one another that to find it anywhere else is going to be the hardest thing possible.